Hello, hello! My name is Kallista, and welcome back to Dragon Age 2. In the last episode, we were exploring the Chantry, Amelia's favouriteest place in all of Kirkwall. Now, we could head up here and have a chat with Grand Cleric Elthina. However, I want to properly explore the Chantry first. We are still carrying Sister Plint's body on us, and she deserves a proper burial. Oh, hello. Locks of the Golden Fool. Oh, okay. A satirical tome about a deluded brother of the Chantry who sought peace between elves and humans. A condemnation of fanatics of both races. It is favoured by radical elves choosing to live in Darktown, I believe. Yeah, this is also for Darktown. Okay. And over here, The History of the Chantry, Chapter 1. Let me just start my timer. There we go. The first blight devastated the Tevinter Imperium. Not only had the Darkspawn ravaged the countryside, but Tevinter citizens had to face the fact that their own gods had turned against them. Dumat, the old god once known as the Dragon of Silence, had risen to silence the world. And despite the frenzied pleas for help, the other old gods did nothing. The people of the Imperium began to question their faith, murdering priests and burning temples to punish their gods for not returning to help. In those days, even after the devastation of the First Blight, the Imperium stretched across the known world. Fringed with barbarian tribes, the Imperium was well prepared for invasions and attacks from without. Fitting, then, that the story of its downfall begins from within. The people of the far northern and eastern reaches of the Imperium rose up against their powerful overlords in rebellion. The Tevinter Magisters summoned demons to put down these small rebellions, leaving corpses to burn as examples to all who would dare revolt. The Imperium began to tear itself apart from within, throngs of angry and disillusioned citizens doing what centuries of opposing armies could not. But the Magisters were confident in their power, and they could not imagine surviving a blight only to be destroyed by their own subjects. Even after the Blight, Tevinter commanded an army larger than that of any other organised nation in Thedas. But that army was scattered, and its morale dwindling. The ruin of Tevinter was such that the Alamari barbarians, who had spread their clans and holds over the wilderness of the Ferelden Valley at the far southeast edge of the Imperium, saw weakness in their enemy, and, after an age of oppression, embarked on a campaign not only to free their own lands, but to bring down mighty Tevinter as well. The leaders of that blessed campaign were the great barbarian warlord Mafarath and his wife Andraste. Their dreams and ambitions would change the world forever. From Tales of the Destruction of Thedas by Brother Genitivi, Chantry Scholar. Very interesting. Now then, anything else over on this side of the Chantry? Oh, hello, the founding of the Chantry. Cordelius Draken, king of the city-state of Orlais, was a man of uncommon ambition. In the year -15 Ancient, the young king began construction of a great temple dedicated to the Maker, and declared that by its completion, he would not only have united the warring city-states of the south, he would have brought Andrastian belief to the world. In -3 Ancient, the temple was completed. There, in its heart, Draken knelt before the eternal flame of Andraste and was crowned ruler of the Empire of Orlais. His first act as emperor? To declare the Chantry as the established Andrastian religion of the Empire. It took 3 years and several hundred votes before Olessa of Monsimard was elected to lead the new Chantry. Upon her coronation as divine, she took the name Justinia, in honor of the disciple who recorded Andraste's songs. In that moment, the ancient era ended, and the divine age began. From Ferelden Folklore and History by Sister Patrine, Chantry Scholar. I think that, what is it called? I don't actually know what the big temple in Orlais is called. The White Spire is the circle there. Oh, I've seen it in Codex entries, but you know which one I mean. This temple. I think that's another place that Amelia would like to visit on a pilgrimage. Haven, the statue of Our Lady Redeemer in the Anderfells, and the first ever Andrastian temple. Those are the places that Amelia wants to see. I don't necessarily know if she'd ever do it, or if this is just kind of like it's something that I'd like to do, because Amelia is very timid. I can't see her making a big journey across the world like that.
Look what I found. Your reason for living.
Bless my fool spirit, I never thought I'd see that again. Thank you.
Amelia, I can't believe you said that whilst handing over a corpse. Amelia. Such insolence. Parvolan, the occupied north. In the 30th year of the Steel Age, the first Kunari ships were sighted off the coast of Parvolan in the far north, marking the beginning of a new age of warfare. History calls this the First Kunari War, but it was mostly a one-sided bloodbath, with the Kunari advancing far into the mainland. Kunari warriors in glittering steel armour carved through armies with ease. Their cannons, the likes of which our ancestors had never seen, reduced city walls to rubble in a matter of seconds. Stories of Kunari occupation vary greatly. It is said they dismantled families and sent captives to learning camps for indoctrination into their religion. Those who refused to cooperate disappeared to mines or construction camps. For every tale of suffering, however, there is another of enlightenment deriving from something called the Qun. This is either a philosophical code or a written text that governs all aspects of Kunari life, perhaps both. One converted Saharon reported pity for those who refused to embrace the Qun, as if the conquerors had led him to some sort of self-discovery. For all my life I followed the Maker wherever his path led me, he wrote. But in the Qun I have found the means to travel my own path. It has been said that the most complete way to wipe out a people is not with blades, but with books. Thankfully, a world that had repelled 4 blights would not easily bow to a foreign aggressor, and so the exalted marches began. The greatest advantage of the Chantry-led forces was the Circle of Magi. For all their technology, the Kunari appeared to harbour great hatred for magic. Faced with cannons, the Chantry responded with lightning and balls of fire. The Kunari armies lacked the sheer numbers of humanity. There we go. So many were slain at Marnus Pell on both sides that the Vale is said to be permanently sundered. The ruins still plagued by restless corpses. But each year, the Chantry pushed further and further into the Kunari lines, although local converts to the Qun proved difficult to return to Andraste's teachings. By the end of the Storm Age, the Kunari were truly pushed back. Ravain was the only human land that retained the Kunari religion after being freed, and its rulers attempted to barter a peace. Most human lands signed the Lomeran Accord, accepting the Tevinter Imperium. It is a shaky peace that has lasted to this day. From The Exalted Marches, an examination of Chantry warfare by Sister Patrine, Chantry Scholar. I do like how it says that, I like in quotation marks there, that line about how, converts were remarkably difficult to return to the teachings of the Maker, And
Blessed art thou who exists in the sight of the Maker. Sing of the chant so that it may reach his ears.
Maker bless you too, sister. What I was saying is that the Chantry is just lightly glossing over the fact that they probably employed just as awful methods as the Qun to try to deconvert those people who had converted to the Qun, as it... How do I put this? Ravani beliefs and the Chant of Light, they've never gelled well. Ravane was the only country that the Chant of Light could not reach because their belief systems were so opposed. The Qun and Ravani beliefs mesh very well. They mesh extremely well, and so it is more likely that the Ravani people were like, oh, this gels really well with what we believe. We are happy to accept this religion. Because if you remember in the other codex, the reason why the Qunari armies left was because the Chantry was hurting the people of Ravane. The death toll of the Ravani peoples was so high that the Qunari went, you know what? We don't want these people to be hurt. We're just gonna nope out. And later, we will come back. Because let's be honest, the Qunari will be back at some point. I just like the Chantry slagging off the Qun. Oh, they're barbarians. And then just lightly glossing over the, like, oh, they were remarkably difficult to deconvert, but we managed it in some cases. The Sermons of Divine Renata I. The weakness of mortal will is the great failing of all the Maker's children. We trade our honour as if it were the cheapest of currency. We do not understand what integrity is or what it is truly worth. From this ignorance, original sin was born. At some time, each of us has thought, what does it matter if I keep hold of my integrity? I am but one mortal, I am powerless. How blind we all are! The virtue of a single slave destroyed the Tevinter Imperium. The dishonour of one man drove the Maker from our sight. I tell you truly, nothing but the integrity of our hearts will win the love of the Maker back to us. It is all the power we shall ever possess to change this world, for good or for ill. From a sermon on integrity. Now then, anything else up here? The Maker, hello. Also, big ass statue, hello. I'll just be reading this. The Maker. There was no word, for heaven or for earth, for sea or sky. All that existed was silence. Then the voice of the Maker rang out, the first word. And his word became all that might be, dream and idea, hope and fear, endless possibilities. And from it he made his firstborn. And he said to them, in my image I forge you. To you I give dominion over all that exists. By your will may all things be done. Then, in the centre of heaven, he called forth a city with towers of gold, streets with music for cobblestones, and banners which flew without wind. There he dwelled, waiting to see the wonders his children would create. The children of the Maker gathered before his golden throne and sang hymns of praise unending. But their songs were the songs of the cobblestones. They shone with the golden light reflected from the Maker's throne. They held forth the banners that flew on their own. And the voice of the Maker shook the fade, saying, in my image I have wrought my firstborn. You have been given dominion over all that exists. By your will all things are done, yet you do nothing. The realm I have given you is formless, ever-changing. And he knew he had wrought amiss. So the Maker turned from his firstborn and took from the fade a measure of its living flesh, and placed it apart from the spirits and spoke to it, saying, here I decree opposition in all things. For earth, sky, for winter, summer, for darkness, light, by my will alone is balance sundered. and the world given new life. And no longer was it formless, ever-changing, but held fast, immutable, with words for heaven and for earth, sea and sky. At last did the Maker from the living world make men, immutable as the substance of the earth, with souls made of dream and idea, hope and fear, endless possibilities. Then the Maker said, "To you, my second-born, I grant this gift. In your heart shall burn an unquenchable flame, all-consuming and never satisfied. From the Fade I crafted you, and to the Fade you shall return each night in dreams, that you may always remember me." And then the Maker sealed the gates of the Golden City, and there he dwelled, waiting to see the wonders his children would create. Threnodies 5, 1-8. I do like the canticles, those types of codexes. I think they're very interesting. I don't necessarily believe them, but I think they're very well written.
I'm sorry you had to witness that disgraceful scene by the Chanter's Board. I am Elthina, Grand Cleric of Kirkwall. Sebastian's normally a good lad, but he's had a terrible shock.
Sebastian? Was that his name?
Sebastian Vale. He was affirmed here nearly a decade ago. He had just been invested as a brother when we got the news about his family. I'm afraid he reacted rashly, denied his vows and left the Chantry. If the Maker wills it, he will return to himself before it's too late.
So he's some kind of priest?
He is an initiate of the faith. As a man, he cannot serve as a mother would, but he has led the chant here many times. Before last week, I would have said he was the most faithful of our true believers.
That was not worded as I thought it was going to be, because Amelia is so completely obsessed with the Chantry. She would know all that information. Also, as I've said before, she comes to the Chantry at least twice a week. Bare minimum for prayers and things. So I imagine she would have been at a service where Sebastian was leading the chant. She would at least recognize him, if not know his name. So, yeah, I'm gonna say that was Varric providing information to Cassandra. That's what I'm going with there.
He said someone murdered his family.
Sebastian is the youngest son of the ruling family of Starkhaven. They were overthrown recently, violently. Sebastian is the only surviving member.
He's royalty?
Prince Sebastian Vale, if he succeeds in his pledge to take back his lands. He made a vow to the Maker to put worldly concerns behind him. It is a sin to forswear himself for a mere title.
Ooh. You hear that, Amelia? You could be a princess, and instead, you're going to be a train wreck. Oh, dear. I do think that Elthina's words would put some doubt in Amelia's mind. She's the Grand Cleric. She seems very against this. And Amelia would absolutely be like, oh shit, she's saying this is a bad thing? Maybe I shouldn't be doing this then. Ooh. I don't know. We were going to help him. Family is very important to Amelia. She can't even begin to imagine what she'd do if she lost all her family like he has, so... Oh, but Elthina's saying it's a sin. We'll go with this, and we'll see what she says, and then maybe we might rethink.
I think his family deserves to be avenged.
Sebastian would spend his coin to buy men's lives, the same as those who attacked his family. No matter how justified he feels, that is murder. And when he returns, I will tell him so again.
Oh no, we don't... Murder is a sin. We don't want to be murdering people. I mean... I would argue that all of the people that Amelia has killed so far, it's been in self-defense. They were bandits and slavers and, you know, people who were also doing illegal acts. Ooh. I'm not too sure how she feels about this. There is... Yeah, I've said this before. Amelia's still considering loose ends. We could go and pick up the first sacrifice. That's an option. You know what? We'll go grab that.
Maker's breath, you get more letters than I do. There's another one on the desk.
That's because I'm more popular than you, Uncle. Ooh, Act of Mercy. Proud scion of the Hawk family. I dare not contact you directly, but we have met before and I know you to be a person of good character and unusual ability. Indulge me in a meeting outside the city, for I require your aid in a delicate task. As a token of good faith, I have enclosed a modest sum. There will be more waiting if you can help. Please come as soon as you receive this. If you do not, the lives of many innocents may be on my hands. Sincerely, a friend. Okay. Dark Epiphany. I understand that you are to thank for the return of the Lost Grey Warden letters. The deed did not go unnoticed. Please accept the enclosed reward and the Warden's blessings. Your discretion about this affair is appreciated. Anonymous. And duty. To whomever... Oh, wait a minute. Sorry, I got a bit confused for a minute there. No, this is what I think it is. To whomever elects to participate in the charitable deed of assisting the Vale family of Starkhaven, His Most Worthy Highness, Prince Sebastian Vale, has provided instructions for anyone brave and noble enough to attempt the eradication of the rabble who dared attack his family. 3 groups of Flint Company mercenaries have been sighted in the Kirkwall vicinity. 1 group makes camp not far from the elves of the Sundermount mountain range. The 2nd has been seeking information on the docks after nightfall. The 3rd is far from the main road off the Wounded Coast. They are believed to have a small campsite well past any known landmarks. A princely reward, or princely award, awaits those who finds and defeats all these rogues. May the Maker guide you, Chanter Taletha. Oh, this is just mixed signals. The Grand Cleric is saying we shouldn't do this, but the Chanter is saying we should. Oh, no. This just makes me feel guilty, and I don't like it. Good boy for digging. Yeah, you won't find anything, buddy.
Are you searching for buried treasure? Or just trying to tunnel out of this hovel? Good luck with that.
Aw, he's a good bubba. Such a good bubba. Okie doke. Now then, let's have a look at our quests. What do we actually have to do? Yeah, I'm inclined to leave off with the main plots for now. Okay, so we've got to talk to Merrill. Okay, there's all of these. We have to go and check out the Black Emporium at some point. And we have 2 things in Darktown. Okay, you know what? I'm going to go check in on Merrill, head to Darktown to hand those 2 in, and then if we've got any time, we'll stop off at the Black Emporium. How's about that? That sounds like a plan. Okay, let's grab... Who haven't we had out in a while? Let's go Isabella, Merrill, and Fenris. There we go. And we're heading straight to Merrill's home. My dear?
This city is amazing. Do you know I saw someone get mugged? Right outside. It was fascinating. Everything happens here all at once. How does anyone keep it all straight?
Yeah, muggings are fascinating. By ignoring most of it, they don't a lot of practice. This is more evidence that Merrill is possessed by the devil. Someone got mugged and you're like, ooh, amazing. Like, someone got hurt, probably. That person is probably incredibly distressed. Getting mugged is not a nice experience. And you're like, you're intrigued? Pardon?
Someone has jumped outside your door and that's exciting?
It must be the Alienage greeting. Hasn't happened to me yet, though. They must not like me. It's so busy here. So many things just get lost.
I'm gonna say this again. I know they intended that to be funny. But how dense do you have to be to see someone get mugged? That person is probably in distress, and you're like, oh, it must be some sort of greeting. Like, I've said it before, I'll say it again. That type of behavior, it just... I want to like Merrill. I really want to like Merrill, but then she says these lines, and I'm like, what? Like, that goes beyond being socially inept. Like, if I see someone, like, I'm not the most socially adept person as it is. I'm pretty awkward. But if I see someone getting threatened with a knife or crying, I'm not going to be intrigued by that. I'm going to be like, oh my god, are you okay? Like, why did they do this to her? Okay, that's enough for now. Yeah, are you feeling homesick, my dear?
Do you miss the Dalish?
I miss Haren Pival stories. The creaking of Aravels in the breeze. The city is so busy and confusing. And the elves here are not like my clan. But I'll get used to Kirkwall in time.
You could always go home. You ever thought of that? Have the Templars spotted you? Because if they have, you should probably go home.
The Templars haven't found you, have they?
I've been careful, even among the Dalish. Keepers never work magic in public. And I think the Templars don't even see me. I'm just another elf in the Alienage.
You sound lonely. It's an adventure. Inattention is good. No, it's not good. We want her to get noticed, so then she will leave. Oh, I don't like any of none of these are like, please go back from where you came. Please. In lieu of that, once again, Amelia covering up how scared she is about this situation with humour.
Think of it like a game. You can pick up all the things people drop and overlook. Maybe count them.
I think they mostly drop garbage. I'm glad you came by. I needed someone to talk to.
Okay. For a minute then, I was concerned we were getting friendship, which we do not want with Merrill. Okay, that's fine. We have levels. You want 2 cunning, 1 dex. And have some of that. Ooh, oh my dear. We want to give you 2 magic, 1 constitution, I think, rather than willpower. Because she is a blood mage. You know what? We'll go 2 constitution, 1 magic, because her constitution is very low. There we go. And you can have some more. You can have some more of this. There we go. Lovely jubbly. Alrighty then. Yeah, we already explored Merrill's house. So let's head off into Darktown. Darktown, where are you at? Right there. looking at my timer, I am almost out of time for this episode. You know what? I'll hand in these 2 side quests. And then at the beginning of next episode, we'll head straight to, oh, what's it called? The Black Emporium. There we go. Where are you hiding? Oh, up here. Hello there.
I think I found something of yours.
Where did you get this? It's just what I need. Thank you.
Okie doke, sir. And hello?
Why are you watching me like that?
You have Valasleen. The same markings that the Dalish have.
Yours are not made of Valyrium.
No, they're made of blood. Our blood. That's what Valasleen means. Blood writing. It's a mark of adulthood.
Mine were carved into my flesh against my will, in a ritual I remember only for the agony it caused me.
I'm so sorry.
You have enough sense to apologise now, but when you see a mugging... Oh, again, there are times when someone, like, as Fenris said, he was in agony, he was in pain. Merrill realises that and realises that, like, oh, let me ask questions. That is not appropriate. She apologises for the pain that caused him. She shows empathy. Yet, 2 minutes ago in that cutscene, 0 empathy from Merrill. A mugging doesn't deserve empathy. A mugging deserves to be watched and gawked at. Oh. I like Merrill when she shows empathy. I like that. And I don't say that like she's not empathetic most of the time. I do believe she is. But when they try and make her funny, she loses so much empathy that you just kind of stand there and look at her like, pardon?
Something of yours, sir.
I thought this was lost to us, like so many other things. My gratitude.
There we go. Alrighty then. Also, I'm glad that banter has finally been returned. That's a relief. Now then, codex entries. What do we have? How do you pronounce that name? Beregrand? I'm gonna go with Beregrand. Beregrand the Bold. Beregrand the Bold was either a hero or a traitor, depending on how you look at it. Before exile was common among the dwarves, only the most heinous crimes warranted a dwarf being stripped of house and sent to the surface. Beregrand qualified and was banished on accusations of regicide after killing a dwarven king on the Proving Sands. Beregrand spat on the assembly that pronounced his sentence before strapping on his armour and leaving Gundar. Living on the surface, Beregrand's incredible fighting skills, tactical knowledge, and intellect built a naval empire centred in what would one day... Jesus, why is this sentence giving me so much trouble? Let's try this again. And intellect built a naval empire centred in what one... This... Why did they word it in this manner? In what would one day be Antiva. There we go. His more enduring legacy was teaching human smiths, engineers, and other crafters jealously guarded dwarven secrets. Cursed by dwarves and hailed by humans, Beregrand became a figure of much controversy. As complicated as his life was, the story of Beregrand's armour is even more checkered. His armour has passed through many heroes' hands over the centuries. Despite the advantages it gave them, no hero using it ever survived to old age. The Edge of Night. You've never seen a lad so taken with an axe. He carried one of the old sodding things with him wherever he went, practicing day and night. He drove his mother to distraction, he did. Even when he was fully raised into the warrior caste, he refused proper weapons. Said he had the feel of an axe, and that's all he needed. Over the years, he spent a small fortune having Smith's Lair enchantments on him. Oh, how others would sneer at those ancient things. Well, they did until Beregrand lopped off King Jegric's head on the sands. Sad business, that. And Gundar was the poorer for it. And I'm not just talking about the king. From The Memories of Gundar, a collection of stories preserved by the Shaperit of the Lost Dwarven Kingdom. Parvolan, we've read that. The city of Starkhaven, here we go. Starkhaven, the largest city in the Free Marches, sits on the bank of the Great Minata River. I remember my visit to the city quite clearly. I was taken up the river by barge, a cumbersome vessel that moved at a stately pace, and disembarked by the city's central square, an impressive space with marble fountains and surrounded by kingly estates. Starkhaven's wealth was truly a sight to behold. A path paved in granite led up to the grandest building I've ever seen. My guide indicated that this was the residence of Starkhaven's ruler, Prince Vale. We supped at the table of my guide's closest friend. I was presented with a variety of dishes from the region. One in particular stood out: fish and egg pie, Starkhaven's most famous dish. 3 deboned fish, caught just that day, were cooked in a porcelain vessel with boiled eggs, dried fruit, spices and thickened cream, all topped with a light crust. Superb. From In Pursuit of Knowledge, The Travels of a Chantry Scholar by Brother Genitivi. 1, this sounds delicious. 2, Starkhaven is another place I would love to visit in Dragon Age. I don't think we will, given that Dragon Age 4 seems to heavily centre on Tevinter and the Anderfels and possibly Antiva. So I don't think we'll be heading to Starkhaven in the next game. If there's a Dragon Age 5, maybe. Maybe, but not in Dragon Age 4, I think. We've read that. The Maker. Yeah, that's good. That's good. Characters. Sebastian Vale. In the face of danger, sometimes the bravest thing is to stand back and trust that the Maker will see justice done. Sebastian Vale is the only surviving son of the ruling family of Starkhaven, which was murdered in a violent coup d'etat. Sebastian cannot forget the irony that he still lives only because his family was so ashamed of his drinking and womanizing that they committed him to the Kirkwall Chantry against his will. After initially rejecting a priest's lifestyle, Sebastian was more surprised than anyone when he realized that his show of faith had turned real. Since then, his belief in the Maker and his plan for Thedas have been unshakable. Embracing his new role, Sebastian took vows of poverty and chastity to become a sworn brother of the Chantry, until word of his family's death forced him to take up worldly concerns once again. Grand Cleric Elthina, Sebastian's mentor and friend, hopes to convince him to walk away from the struggle for Starkhaven and return to the good works of the Chantry. Duty. I guess we've read that. Okay, that's all good. Rightio then. So, in the next episode, we will head to the mysterious Black Emporium. But until then, please remember to like if you enjoyed, leave a comment below, and if you wanted to subscribe, it would be very much appreciated. I've been Kallista. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next episode.